Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Harrow, media coach, marketing strategist, author of Sell Yourself Without Selling Your Soul, published by HarperCollins, and CEO of PRSecrets.com. This is my third attempt at a blab. It looks like it's recording. Sometimes people were saying it was not recording before, and then I booted myself off. So this is my final attempt at getting a recording, and hopefully we'll have this for you. So today I'm going to be talking about the 3 hot hooks, the fastest way to get the media to call you. And I'm going to be glancing over here at my notes. And I'm hoping that now the technology is not going to be my enemy today. So this is my third and last attempt for this topic. Okay, so I know a number of you got booted off. I hope you'll be able to find me again. So these 3 hot hooks are what you're going to use in your subject line of your email that you send to a reporter or producer, whether you send a pitch letter or a press release. And why this is so important is because if you can't capture a producer or a reporter's attention, they're not going to read the rest of your email. And so no matter how great your business, book, product, service, or cause is, or what your offer is, they're not going to get to it. So it's super important to be able to capture their attention and then, of course, to hold it afterwards. So the other thing that you want to do before you ever go ahead and send this out is you want to make sure that you have your sound bites down. And your sound bites are just the key messages that you want your audience to know and that incite them to buy or buy into your business, book, product, service, or cause. And what I mean by that is you want your sound bites, your messages, to not only inform and be of value and serve the audience, and then you also secondarily want them to serve you because you want to connect with people, your audience, hundreds of millions of people, and incite them to buy, whether it's on your bricks and mortar store, whether it's coming to your website and click to conversion, or whether it's calling you up on the phone to book you, hire you as a client to buy your services, your products, whatever that is. So these 3 hot hooks are what's going to capture people's attention first, because oftentimes what happens is if you've got a really good subject line in these 3 hot hooks, the reporter or producer is actually going to use that when you get booked on the show, whether it's a radio show or a TV show. And you see these 3 formulas all the time. You'll start to recognize them. And you'll start to see that people use them all the time. These are the most popular ones and what reporters love most. And these are the ones that capture your attention and get you to stay on that channel or to listen to the radio or to buy a magazine when it's on the cover. So I see a couple of you found your way in here. I'm glad. Thank you. I'm not going to refresh or do anything. So hopefully if you have questions or whatever, I'll be able to see them over there. So welcome. Now, the other thing about these 3 hot hooks. Okay, so you remember you have your sound bites down before you send out, use these hot hooks. And those are those key messages that you want your audience to know. And oftentimes some of those stories are going to be about your success with your clients or people using your products or services or courses, whatever that is, interwoven into the conversation. And I'll do a separate blab on that, like how to create your sound bites to attract the right clients to you and to be able to be both entertaining and lovable and attract the right clients to you, not just any clients, but the right clients, because you don't want your phone ringing off the hook with people who aren't going to buy, who aren't interested in you. You want the right people to call and the right people to come to your website. So why do reporters love these 3 hot hooks? It's because they love for you to take a strong stand. They love you to tempt them with something that rubs them the wrong way or that's counterintuitive. So, and they like things that are really unusual or odd, or quirky or weird. So these 3 hot hooks you will use in the subject line, and I'm going to tell you exactly what they are. And oh, by the way, I've posted over here, and I'm going to read it out loud too. So if you want to get in contact with reporters or producers, I've created the 50 top contacts list that you can get free on my website, which is prsecrets.com. PR like public relations, SECRETS like Sam.com. And I've posted it over here. Yay, it's recording, Sybil. Thank you. Yes. Okay. And then I also have the 100-word email that can get the media to call you. And that is, I've made that into a bit.ly link, which is bit.ly 100-word email. And the W is capitalized on the word word, and the E is capitalized on the word email. So the 100-word email. The capitals are very important, otherwise you won't get to the right page. So that's something that you can get free from me as well, because you do, whenever you want to reach out to the media, those two resources are super important to be able to use your hot hooks when you contact the media. Okay, so let's go over what number one is. The three hot hooks. The number one is ask a gripping question for which you have the answer. Number two is to debunk a myth. And number three is to create controversy. So I'll go over each one of those separately. Number one, ask a gripping question for which you have the answer. So first what you do is you identify a problem, and then you state the answer to your problem. So it's negative first, positive next. So problems that are stated in the negative are 7 to 10 times more powerful than problems stated in the positive. So you don't want to say how to stay healthy, 5 ways to stay healthy. You want to say 5 ways that make you unhealthy, that you don't want to do. So you want to create the negative first, and that's just how our brains are wired. We are wired neurologically to be able to escape from the negative, and that's just part of the human condition. It's not a flaw. It's not. People go, why do we have to talk about the negative first? It's because that's the way our brains are wired for survival. So you want to state the negative first. So, and the other thing you want to ask yourself is, what is it going to cost your audience to not take your advice? What are they going to lose physically, spiritually, financially, emotionally? What are they going to lose by not listening to you? Financially, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So here's an example. And you want to be able to quantify that loss. Like, you want to really be able to tell them in solid terms what they're going to lose. So my example that I was on before I got booted off was help. What can you do if your doctor is killing you? And the 6 strategies to save your life. So I was talking about, and I'll say this again since it's on the recording, is what happened to my sweetie. This I wrote for a client of mine who had a loved one in the hospital, where there were a number of times where her loved one almost died. Mistakes in the hospital, things that happen, and we can't always be vigilant. So that's really important. So help, what can you do if your doctor is killing you? 6 strategies to save your life. And with my sweetie, when he was in the hospital and almost died from a staph infection, he's also highly allergic to fake sugars. And what was there right on the tray as soon as he had transferred hospitals? A fake sugar pudding that I almost fed him, and he would have gone into anaphylactic shock. And he had just had surgery on his neck. So his throat, he was in a neck brace, so his throat would have closed up and he would have died. So these are the kinds of things that we want to focus on that are super important, keeping your loved one alive, right? The second example is what I created for Carol Adrian, who's the best-selling author of The Purpose of Your Life and a number of other books, and New York Times best-selling author. So how do you find soul in the workplace if your job is hell? And then here's where we used a statistic where Carol Adrian said 80% of Americans who report that they are unhappy with their jobs and how they can cope. So she showed that this is a really big problem. 80% of Americans unhappy with their job. That is so sad. I mean, I love working for myself. I've worked for myself for 25 years. But how sad for people who are not happy doing what they're doing for 8 to 10 hours a day. So this is a really important topic, especially now when people are, need to work, even if they don't love their jobs in this economy, but how they can. I love that there's a solution that they can love their jobs, even if they don't at this moment. So the other example that I created for my client, David Skibbins, who wrote Work Sober, and I'll show you 3 different examples of this, is so working sober. So the topic is being drug addicted in the workplace. So should companies have the right to drug test their employees? So that's something that's like super controversial, right? Should they have that right? That was number one. We came up with a number of these and tested them all. And by the way, if you don't get a response from the media, try another headline, because remember, it might not fit in with, it might not be the right time, the right person, the right angle. It all has to do with all of those kinds of things. What's going on in the culture today? Is that reporter keenly interested in that? Do they think it's right for their audience? So that's what you're dealing with when you're sending these in. The second one is the person in the cubicle next to you a drug addict? So you can tell that's kind of a little saucy, a little rub them the wrong way, a little surprising, right? And then the other one I came up with was, did you know that most drug addicts wear a suit to work? So surprising, like, what? What are you talking about? Could the person be sitting next to you as a drug addict? And we don't usually think about people in suits being drug addicts. But the fact is that American companies are losing over $100 billion a year due to drug addicted employees. So we know it's a huge problem. So those are the three hot headlines, that actually more than three, for that particular topic. So you can see how I'm playing around with it, right? They're kind of different angles. So feel free to play around with those angles. Let's go on to so I just want to say, for you, can you identify a problem in your industry? Welcome, Catherine, your first day on Blab. I don't know if I'm supposed to click on that, but welcome them. Okay, good. So I just welcomed you. So I'm new to Blab too. So welcome, Catherine. So can you identify a problem in your industry? Is there a pressing or world problem or a local problem that you can also solve? Hey, Kat. Yeah, I'm Catherine. I'm new to Blab too, so I'm still working out some of these technical issues, which are kind of baffling to me. But anyway, so think about this too. People are more motivated by what they can lose than what they can gain. So remember to tell them what they are going to lose by not listening to you. Number two is to debunk a myth. And I'm looking over here at my notes. And then I'm going to riff on that. So debunking a myth is just taking a commonly held belief and showing why it's not true. So it's anything as simple as talking about the myth that boys are better in math than girls. That's a super common one. So for musician Stephen Halpern, I wrote a press release called The Mozart Mistake to prove that the Mozart effect, or the theory that listening to Mozart makes you smarter, is sadly not true. I know that might be hard to hear. I didn't like hearing it either, because I want to think that listening to Mozart is going to make me smarter. But sadly, it doesn't. Because what we discovered is the study that it was based on was invalid. It was statistically invalid. There were only 32 people in that study, and that does not make a valid study. So we were debunking that myth. Does this make sense to you? You can pop over into the messages and say yes, if it makes sense. Yes, 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 yes. Excellent. Excellent. Great. So another example from my client, Bonnie Burnell, who's a psychologist, is dieting makes you fat. Okay, so you see that's also kind of like, what? What do you mean dieting makes me fat? So what we found statistics to back that up. So we got the statistics from the National Institute of Health, the NIH, and the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, that said 98% of people who diet, or it's yo-yo dieting, gain back more weight than they lose by the yo-yo dieting effect. That's really sad, too. But it's true, and it's backed by government statistics. So that's debunking a myth. And those are a couple of examples of that. The next one is to create controversy. And what I want to say about creating controversy, this is the most effective one. I'm going to take a little sip of my water. This is the most effective one because people love what they hate. And producers and journalists also, that makes a really great show. You have a person on one side who has one opinion, a person who on the other side has another opinion, and then they go at it. So if you say something controversial, it's really super interesting to the media. So, but the one thing that I want to tell you is that you really need to be very good and very quick on your feet, and to have all of your facts down and all of your statistics down, not just emotional opinion for controversy, because it can get very hot in the hot seat. And this is the most difficult interview to deal with. But on the other hand, it can also be the most fun. I had one client who I was training on this, and she just came alive when when I was playing the hard interviewer. She sort of honed in on her game. So that's why I say it can be really enlivening, but it can also be super scary. So you definitely want to you definitely want to role play that. And that's what I do as a media coach with my clients, is I make sure to put them in the hottest hot seat. So when they're actually on TV or on the radio on the hot seat, it's just like a breeze. It's like, oh, that's not hot at all, So they're already used to that kind of controversy. So that's what I want to say about controversy too. David Talbot, who is the editor-in-chief and founder of Salon.com, one of the most respected and successful online magazines, says, the best dinner parties are those where people disagree with each other. If everyone is just nodding their heads in harmony all night long, it's pretty dull. Unless you have a vivid voice, a controversial voice, often the reader is not going to stick with you. So think about that. People love what they hate. So take a strong stance on an issue related to a product or business, because those strong emotions equal good ratings. And that's why editors and reporters and producers love it. So for my client, psychologist Jane Swigert, she wrote The Myth of the Perfect Mother. She's a parenting expert. We wrote this after Columbine, but sadly, it's still relevant today. The headline, why do kids kill? The debate, should parents be blamed for their children's actions? So you can see that anytime there's a school shooting by a kid, this topic is relevant, right? So this is sadly, this one is sort of timeless. Most of the time, your controversial issues are going to be timed to an event or something a trend or what's going on in the culture today. This one, sadly, we could use over and over again whenever there's a school shooting. At that time, when Columbine, it wasn't as common as it is now. The other question that we asked in the actual press release too, and when she was on TV, how many of you think a parent is responsible for their child's actions? So you can see how you would have people on both sides. You would have people who think absolutely not, it's the environment, it's not the parent's fault. And other people who say, oh my God, they have raised such a horrible child, and blame the parents. And then there's in between, right, where earlier there was an article, it was a year or two ago, about if you hang out with fat friends, you will be fatter too. So we could also argue in this, is it the friends? Is it the environment? Is it the home? Is it the parents? So you can see how that would create a kind of conversation, right? Can you understand that? And just pop in yes if you're still here. And great, yes, great. I don't know if that's a new yes. All right. A new yes. Thank you. I don't know whether you like to be called Kat or Catherine, but thank you, Catherine or Kat. The other thing I wanted to tell you about controversy that creates an instant debate. And last night when I was doing this, people wanted me to go over this over and over again. So I'll do it more slowly, which is there's one word that you can use that will turn an ordinary statement into one that's buzzing with friction. And that word is but. So the word not helps set up the but that follows. So I'll give you two examples so you can understand how this is used. when it comes to creating criminals, it is not parenting that matters, but the environment a child grows up in. So that's a strong statement that one could use in the conversation once you get booked in that media appearance. So it goes like this. When it comes to creating criminals, it is not parenting that matters, but the environment a child grows up in. So we could have that debate on one side, and then someone else would believe something else on the other. The second example is it is not eating too much, but dieting that makes you fat. So it is not eating too much, but dieting that makes you fat. So you see how we could just use those two in a kind of conversation that people will say, that's not true. It has to do with, calories in and calories out, right? So you can see how that sets up that debate. So I want to tell you again that if you would like my 100-word email, I put the links in over here to the, I don't know if you can actually see my cursor, but I put them under all messages, the bit.ly 100-word email with a capital W and a capital E. This is the email formula that will get the media to call. So it shows you how to write that email for these 3 hot hooks. So your 3 hot hooks are going to go in the subject line one at a time, right? And then the actual body of the email or the pitch is what I will show you how to do in 100 words. So if you're planning to connect with the media, this is a super great formula. It's free. So it's at bit.ly 100-word email, capital W, capital E. That's important, otherwise you won't get to the right page. And then you just put in your name and email address and you'll get that in your email box instantly. And the other thing that you can get free is on my website, prsecrets.com, like public relations secrets.com. You can get the 50 top email contacts. They're producers, editors, journalists of the top, all the top national publications, not all of them, but 50 of them. If you're ready to contact the media, you can download it now for free, and whenever you're ready, look it over and connect with the people that are right for you. So that's free as well. That's on my website, prsecrets.com. And it's right on the homepage in the banner. You'll see it right there with a big picture of me. So any questions that you have before I jump off? Because I'm going to do another blab, and this one is going to be on the script for closing clients. Because the reason why this is so important is, like, I'm not an expert in sales, but what happens is in publicity, publicity brings people to your door, and you need to open it and then close the sale. So publicity brings people to your door, and then you either need to know how to close people on the phone or close them through your website process, right? Or if they walk into your brick and mortar store. So this is a script for getting clients. I'm going to close out this blab and start another one right after this, unless you have any questions. So I'm looking in the question box, or you can put them over here, I think. You can put them in the all messages area if you like. Either way. So I'll wait a few more minutes unless you have any more questions. The other thing is, if you are interested in going further with me and you really want to set up your pre-publicity campaign, we have a Sell Yourself Without Selling Your Soul membership club that gets everything set up for publicity, and it's $25 a month. And that is bit.ly publicity club. I'm going to cut and paste that in there. I wasn't going to talk about that, but and I don't even know how I can put a message in there now that let me just see over here. So that's, we have a great group, and we've got a great Facebook group, and it's will I record the new blab too? Yes, I will. Oh, there we go. Boom. Yes, I will, Kat, record the new blab. I don't know what that little X is for, but yes. Oh, here's another question. Oh, that's you over here. You're in both places. Okay, great. Yes, I'll record. Oh, so I don't have to click on it and say it. But maybe I can just click there and say yes. Oh, yes. I don't know. Okay, as I said, I'm new to Blab, so that just pinned it up. Okay, any other questions before I end? And I will end with my motto, unless I see any other questions. Okay, so my motto is speak your mind, stand your ground, and sing your song. So hopefully I will see you on the next blab or engaging with me on my website. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Now, I don't even know how to stop my blab because I'm going to pause it. Okay, there we go. Okay, well, hopefully I will see you on the next blab, which I'll start in like a few minutes. I don't see an X. X myself out, maybe? Maybe X myself out.